The organisation I support, the International Bolshevik Tendency, we put out this booklet about Mumia because we think this case is really important. I mean, there are so many miscarriages of justice and there are so many activists who the state tries to cut back, but Mumia's case, I think, illustrates some really key points, and one of them is obviously about the racism of the US state and how that is tied up with the death penalty, which is so disproportionately used against black people in the US. And the fact that he got off death row was a victory, obviously, but it's been replaced with this kind of slow death in prison. It's also important because it tells us how the state works, and when you read the details of how he was framed and why he was framed, and after he left the Panthers, he became a radio journalist, and he was called the voice of the voiceless, and he was campaigning against police corruption in Philadelphia, which was rampant, and the police decided they had to get rid of him. And there's actually a man called Arnold Beverly has gone on record, on video, saying that he killed the cop, that he was hired, him and another guy were hired to kill this cop because the cop was actually not going along with the corruption inside the police force. The widow of the cop, and they have this huge campaign against Mumia, the disinformation campaign, and trying to keep him in prison, trying to kill him. And it's just a really sharp illustration, a lesson, I think, of the way the state works and how the state suppresses dissent and the racism that is tied up with the oppression of the state. So the longshoremen in the US have had all these political strikes and political struggles, and if you look at that union, it's a very integrated, very multiracial union, and the way that they've been able to bring that fight against racism and against the state into the workers' movement, and that has some effect. Even more, I would say, than bringing Margaret Thatcher actually strikes on the waterfront and everywhere. So I think that's kind of another lesson of this whole campaign.